What is up, everyone? Welcome to Reality Room Podcast with Chris. Today, we are going to be talking with Beth and Matheny, both two amazing fitness life coaches, correct?
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, they're amazing. Yeah.
They're known for being on TikTok, battling against diet culture. So today we'll be discussing how media, reality TV, and other platforms have impacted people's views on living a healthy lifestyle, as well as healthy habits. So welcome to Reality Room Podcast. How are you guys doing today?
Super.
Amazing. It's,
all right.
Here in Ohio. Yeah, I think you're in Florida, right, Chris?
Yeah, I'm in Florida.
Ohio, the weather's finally turning, so we got sunshine today, which is nice.
Yeah, same here. We got COVID in the house this morning, so good times. Happy Monday.
All right, so let's go over, talk a little bit about who you guys are and what you do for a living.
You want to go first, Matt?
Sure, I'll go first. Yeah. So my name is Matt Vanderlaar. My username on TikTok, Instagram, social media is Matt Laar Fit. I'm an online health coach / life coach. You can call it whatever you want. Basically, I'm here to help you have a healthier lifestyle and a happier lifestyle. I'm here to help you be strong, fit, and confident in your body. And strong and fit, that goes for our mental health and our physical health. So just helping people to get away from all the fads that are out there, all the short-term hacks and fixes, and just build healthy, sustainable habits.
Yeah. All right. My name is Beth Feraco, owner of Beth Feraco Fitness. I'm a strength, nutrition, and mindset coach, and I help people break free from the yo-yo dieting, diet culture, building a healthy relationship with food while getting stronger and becoming your best self, while working on your mindset, really, which is number one, because it's usually the mindset that holds us back. So, yes.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get into fitness and media. We'll go over reality TV a little bit afterwards, but I'm just curious on what are your thoughts on how fitness is being portrayed on social media platforms and TV and movies and stuff like that. Let's talk about that. So what do you guys think?
Oh boy, where do we start, Beth?
I know. I guess I'll start first with there's this kind of like the people that are science-based and then the people that are not, right? So it's like the battle of that, or the people that have lost weight and are teaching their ways with no certifications. And then you got the health guru people going around the stores saying you shouldn't eat this because it's toxic. There's ingredients, literally they have no fucking idea what they're talking about. They're not even certified in anything. And so people flock to the negative, the don't eat this, don't eat that, right? Because it's very easy to be like, oh yeah, you're right, rather than saying no, this is actually totally fine. They don't want to hear that. Because it's like a slap in the reality that it's really actually not the food.
Yeah. That's hard.
It's our relationship with it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. And to add on to what Beth said, a little bit of a different perspective is the fitness industry and like advertising, marketing, what have you, gives people really real unrealistic expectations and a lot of body image issues and things like that. You look onto any health and fitness magazine, you're probably going to see one person. It's going to be like a skinny woman, and the headline's going to be Fat Blaster 3000 or lose 30 pounds in 30 days or do this exercise to lose belly fat. And Beth and I are trying to change the narrative and the way people look at that. And it's not just Beth and myself. There's other amazing coaches on TikTok, on Instagram that are really starting to fight back against those toxic ideals that have been placed on us for so long. Because ultimately, what that type of stuff does is it makes people feel like they're not good enough. Mm-hmm. that they start hating their body. I can't. They want to look like that woman on the magazine where that's just very unrealistic. That woman on the magazine has been going through. She's on a very low calorie diet for very short term to crash her diet and get super shredded. She's cutting out all carbs and killing herself with exercise and cardio. And that's just not realistic for everybody to do. And that's what we're here for, is to help people do this for the long term. And you can't do that stuff long term.
Yeah, I definitely feel like the media right now has kind of like a weird fictional, well, I don't want to say fictional, but like an unrealistic expectation when it comes to how people are fit. So like you just said, Matt, they have like the skinny girl in the magazine. They have like the really fit guy, like, you know, on the magazine. And like even with like younger kids, like even like teenagers and stuff like that, they see something and they immediately believe it. So
Yes.
what kind of advice would you give like kids and teenagers who kind of like have no choice but to like look up to, you know, because all their sources is media based. So how would you guys figure out like to solve that problem? Because that's what they see something on TV and they immediately believe it. So what do you guys think about that?
That's a great question. I think part of it starts with unfollowing anybody that makes you feel bad about yourself.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. That could be somebody that's posting, if they're only posting topless, shirtless pictures and they're selling their body to get you to buy their supplements and their way of doing things, that's a huge red flag. Because you know that's their entire profession, their entire career is based on looking super lean and shredded and sexy and things like that, you know. So of course they're gonna go through unrealistic methods to obtain that body, and maybe even illegal methods, maybe surgery or performance enhancing drugs and things like that. And that's not something that influencer or model is going to be talking about, because then they don't get paid.
Yeah. It's also, they need to, the parents, you know, it's all, what you see also is not real half the time. I mean, a lot of videos are coming out now where these creators that are very shredded are doing Photoshop to.
Oh God, that's been a big one over the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
It's huge. So, you know, it's not real. Like it takes a lot of work also, and the parents need to monitor what their kids are also doing on social media. I think that's a fucking problem.
Exactly. Absolutely. As parents ourselves.
Like your child, your 13-year-old should not be on TikTok. I'm sorry, but that's just not a place for them. It starts with at home and then goes really from there. But and then the comparison thing, you know, no one should be comparing themselves to someone else on social media in general.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's get into some reality TV shows that try to incorporate, well, they do incorporate losing weight, working out, and somewhat nutrition. So one big show that everyone knows is The Biggest Loser.
Yeah.
I have mixed feelings about The Biggest Loser. I feel like it's a show, like they are losing weight, but their metabolisms are getting messed up because they're losing weight at such a fast rate. Yep. There's actually been a study done, and there's actually been contestants where they'll go on the show, they'll lose the weight, they'll look great on finale, and then they'll gain like all the weight back. Yep. So talk about The Biggest Loser, and you know what do you think they should have done to like change that? Maybe have less people on the show and have a longer time frame. What do you guys think about that?
I really don't think they taught them how to build a lifestyle that they can stick to. It's all about who's going to win, who's going to do it the fastest. And it's not about like as fast as you can, because then what happens? It was like fucking drill sergeant style, like let's kill yourself and starve you, like eat so fucking low. And super just whatever clean. I hate that word, but you know, like they didn't teach them anything really. They just I don't, you know. So.
Yeah, and Chris, to touch on what you said about that study, that's a very good study, and that's very controversial, that study, but it's true what you said. They gained their weight back, and most of them actually gained even more back. And the important part about the metabolism is most of those contestants, their metabolism still hasn't returned to a level that we would expect it to be at for their age, their height, their weight, and things like that. So it's much lower than it should be, which is going to cause problems long term with keeping that weight off. And losing that weight in the future. Every time you try to intentionally lose weight, it's going to damage your metabolism in one way or another. So that's what we see with people yo-yo dieting and hopping from one diet to another over the course of their lifetime. Their metabolism could be several hundred calories lower than somebody we would expect that hasn't been dieting their entire life. And it's really just diet culture, and that's really what we're fighting against is diet culture. And like Beth said, with lifestyle changes and sustainable habits, you know. And my biggest thing with Biggest Loser right off the top is the name of it, right? The Biggest Loser. To me, that implies, of course, the weight loss, right? We want to see who the biggest weight loss person is, but also to me, it implies that you're a loser as well. You know, these people that are competing are losers, and that's just not true. Maybe the people that didn't lose as much, they're getting. I think it's just the implication. They're not directly saying that, but that's what diet culture does. They're never going to tell you that you're not good enough. They're never going to tell you that you're not enough. They're going to give you these subtle messages that make you feel like you're not enough.
Mhm.
All right. So
Mental health part of it goes to.
Mhm. Oh, sorry, you just cut out for a little bit.
You're fine.
So the concept of the show, I believe, originally wasn't so dramatic. I believe the show came out in 2001, 2002, or something like that. But I guess throughout time, the more people that watch the shows, these types of shows, like the producers or whatever, like, well, fuck it, we'll just roll with it. So as far as the show itself, the concept of the show, how would you go about like changing if you were, let's say you were Matt and Beth are the producers of Biggest Loser season whatever fucking 34.
Yeah.
How would you go about changing this or making this a little bit more realistic lifestyle?
Yeah, Beth and I, we talked about that, haven't we?
We have a whiteboard about it.
Yeah, go ahead. We do have a whiteboard. First and foremost, lifestyle changes like Beth and I talk about, that's not sexy. So I don't know how you market that and promote that, and that's what we see on social media is all the fear-based accounts of people that are making you afraid of food and hate your body. They have millions of followers because fear sells. Beth, I'll let you take it from there.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. I just think the show would also be, it would fucking for the most amount of weight you lost. I think it should be based off something else.
Multi-season,
what does your life look like after or even during? Building the mindset part, starting them to take someone and, have them do what they were doing on The Biggest Loser and do sprinting at like 400 or 500 pounds and just run them to the ground. That, and that to me is like an unhealthy relationship with food and exercise combined. So yeah, it would be a lot different. It'd be more like we would need a dietitian, a doctor, we'd be mindset coaching at the same time, things like that. Yep. Not just like, here you go, this is what you're going to eat. This is how many calories, and we're going to kill you in the gym until you fucking puke.
Yeah, precisely. And like you said, it's going to have to be long-term. So like multi-seasons essentially type thing.
Yeah.
And it's essentially, like a docuseries or something like that. Right. And for instance, you could be, seeing where they're at currently and then be doing check-ins and like one-on-one coaching conversations with the client, talking about their biggest obstacles in life and what they're struggling with and looking at their behavior surrounding things, just those intimate coaching sessions. And that's where a lot of change is elicited, is in those coaching sessions and just analyzing and documenting like what their current day-to-day life is, and just get a behind the scenes look at that. Like Beth said, you'd want to have something like a registered dietitian to oversee the nutritional part to make sure that they're doing it in a safe and sustainable way. Want to do it, get a doctor involved so that we can make sure all their health markers they're looking good and they're improving and everything like that. And then of course the mindset, or potentially even like a therapist to help work through the mental side of things.
Great answer. So we're going to go into another show, another kind of fitness show, and it's kind of a very controversial one. I don't know if you guys heard of this one, but it's called Fit to Fat to Fit. I don't know if you guys heard of that one, where the trainer intentionally gains the weight and then loses the weight with the client. So talk about that.
Is that the guy that does, I think I think of the guy's name, but it's a guy that does that, right? And he's like,
Fit to Fat to Fit. I honestly don't think I've heard of that.
He's done it twice now. I think he's gone through this transformation. If it's the same guy I'm thinking of, what he does is he shows people how easy it is to lose weight, and of course, weight loss in theory is easy. I don't know too much about the premise of the show other than that. I do know, if it's the same guy I'm thinking of, he's a keto guy for the most of his life, and I don't know if he teaches those principles or not. But I know when he's doing the the fit to fat portion of the program, he's definitely not keto, and he's just living the dream of eating everything that he wants with no consequences. So
Yeah, I don't know if I like that too much.
Drew
I
Manning,
don't know.
that's his name.
got it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look it
Yeah.
up.
So basically, Beth, the show is they have these trainers go talk to their clients, right? And the trainer has to gain like 30 or 40 pounds within like 4 months. And then the next 4 months, the trainer has to lose the weight with their client. So it's almost like the trainer's trying to prove like, well, if I can gain weight and lose weight, you can do it too.
Yeah.
Mm.
Which that premise, I think, it's a good idea, but in practice, it's not, because again, that's his job. His entire profession revolves around living a fit life.
But they have different trainers. They have different trainers that they use. It's not always the same trainer. They always have like different trainers.
I mean, doesn't really matter. I mean, that's all their jobs is to be fitness influencer, fitness coach, and things like that. So of course they're going to be in shape, and it's easy for them because they get paid to do that.
Yeah.
Sally, who's a single mom of 5, who barely has 10 minutes a day to herself, it's not realistic for her. Or Joe, who's an busy executive or sales something or whatever, it doesn't really matter. Most people don't have more than a couple of hours a week to dedicate to health and fitness.
It's really all individual. So I mean, like Matt said, we all have different lifestyles. Like if I was to get like whatever, go from fit to fat, like I know what to do because I've years of training, and my mental state is a good place. So that makes a big difference.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I don't know too much about that show other than what you just described to us, Chris. I think I was thinking of the wrong guy when you started talking about it. So
I think I know who you're talking about, Matt. I think he's on TikTok, isn't he?
Yeah, he is on TikTok and Instagram. Yeah.
Okay, so as of right now, there is no, as far as I know, there's no anything fitness reality shows, or I mean, I've seen like one documentary where they have like these kids going to these like fat camps or whatever. But it's just like what you guys have been trying to articulate on your social media platforms, is that it's not just about like losing weight for 3 months or being on this program for 3 months. You have to change your whole lifestyle completely. So it's not just like a 3-month program. It's a long-term thing. So Beth, you talked, there's 2 words that you use in all your TikToks: calorie deficit. So talk about a calorie deficit and how important it is to be in a calorie deficit or know to be in a calorie deficit. And how if you were to make your own type of documentary or reality show, how you would incorporate the calorie deficit portion of it.
I think also that this depends on the individual, right? Some clients track calories and some don't. So it really like that right there. So first, a calorie deficit is taking in less calories, energy from food than our body requires to maintain its current weight. So if you're eating too many calories, no matter where it comes from, too much energy, you're going to retain that energy. And if you're eating less than your body requires, you're going to lose that energy, right? So it really is individual, like I said. So you can do like a 3 plates, 2 snacks method. You can track your calories. You can, those are pretty much the 2 that I go off of. But like I said, it's individual. We could do it both ways. Really. And then there's the increasing your non-exercise activity, which goes into that whole thing, making sure you're getting enough protein, strength training, things like that.
Yeah. And within that calorie deficit that Beth was just describing, we need people to understand what you eat within that calorie deficit does not matter, because a calorie is simply a unit of energy, like Beth said. Now your body metabolizes different foods, differently, of course, but 1,000 calories of a donut is 1,000 calories of a broccoli in terms of energy provided. The health factors the health benefits you get from each of those is different, of course, but we say this because we need people to understand that there's no food that is inherently going to make you lose weight or gain weight if your overall calories are in check. You could overeat broccoli and apples and gain weight it'd be very hard to do, but if you're in a caloric surplus of just those 2 food items, you will gain weight, and you can be unhealthy doing that.
The thing is, people they don't know how to balance out. They're eating too much highly palatable, highly processed food that in general just has more calories. That's the way it is. They are more caloric. They're not nutrient dense. They don't keep you full. Therefore, they make you more hungry. You eat more. So when you're focusing on fruits, veggies, and lean meats, you're fuller and you're eating less calories. That's really the difference. So you don't have to cut your carbs. You don't have to stop eating sugar. You just need to know how to incorporate those. And most people overeat them because either from stress reasons, emotional, things like that. And so you need to tackle those things in combination.
Yep, the behaviors.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got 2 more questions. So one of the big things that you guys have been talking about is alcohol and the consumption of alcohol.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that because people have been saying like you can have a moderation when it comes to food, but when it comes to alcohol, can you have a moderation with that?
That's a tricky one, and I'd like to let Beth talk about this one first from her own perspective, and then I'll add on what I think about it.
Yeah, of course you can have alcohol within moderation. Just because I'm a recovering alcoholic, I don't tell my clients, no, you need to stop drinking.
Yeah.
But if you are using alcohol and that is actually overriding what your goals are, then you need to take a look at that, right? If you want to get fit, but you're drinking wine every night and you're getting drunk every weekend, that doesn't align.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to look at that aspect. It's like, do your actions match your goals?
Yeah.
If you're looking for ways to fit alcohol in your life more than trying to, live a healthy lifestyle, then you need to look at your relationship with alcohol. And yeah, a lot of people are drinking way too fucking much. Let's be honest. We glorify alcohol in this country. Like, if you don't drink alcohol, you're looked at as like, why don't you drink?
You're
like,
a leper.
Why do you fucking drink?
Yeah.
Like, I don't go around saying, why do you drink? But sure as hell, someone's going to ask me, like, why don't you drink? It's like, because A, I have a problem with it. And B, I just doesn't serve me.
Yep. Now, Beth, were you done?
Yes.
Sorry. Okay. Now, of course, I do drink on occasion. I had a couple of drinks yesterday for Mother's Day with my family. But I'm aware of what it can, like the setbacks it can have. Like if I wanted to lose weight and things like that, I would probably eliminate alcohol or drastically reduce it. And I did that. Mm-hmm. I just lost 12 pounds in 12 weeks without tracking a single calorie. And part of that strategy was I had alcohol on 2 separate occasions during those 3 months. But also from a health perspective, and what it does to your body, yeah, you can, as long as you're in a calorie deficit and you track your alcohol, you will lose weight. But it's going to interrupt even one drink can interrupt the quality of your sleep. And people are going to be like, but I sleep like a bird when I drink. But guess what? You're drunk or you're buzzed. You might be sleeping through the night, but it's not going to be quality sleep.
Yeah.
Your body's going to be going through some crazy shit.
You're passed out. You're not fucking sleeping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which then the next day,
that makes no sense to me. You're like shit-faced and you're passed out. You're not in your REM. You're not getting any REM sleep.
But then the next day, even after the fact, your hormones are going to be out of whack. Your ghrelin, your hunger hormone is going to be elevated. So you're going to be craving more high calorie foods, the really salty, fatty, carby foods. Your cortisol, your stress hormone cortisol is going to be high end, which is then going to make you crave more food and make other changes in your body. But also not only that, but when you drink even 1 unit of alcohol, your body that can stop muscle protein synthesis for up to 24 hours. So 1 to 2 days after drinking alcohol, your body is essentially not metabolizing food as efficiently as it could, because its sole purpose is to get rid of that alcohol, because it's a literal poison, guys, that we're ingesting. It's poison. Right. People will say they use that term all the time, and that's why it pisses us off. They'll say this food is poison, diet soda is poison. No, alcohol is a literal poison, and you guys have no problem ingesting that every day.
That's the thing. Like you're going to give us shit because we're saying it's okay to drink diet soda. That's a fucking poison. But I'm going to look at your profile picture and you're in the pool chugging wine. Like that makes no sense to me. Okay. You're the one actually drinking the fucking poison. So chill out.
Yep.
Okay. So let's talk about, because I have like a lot of questions here. Yeah. All right. So let's talk about childhood and obesity for a second, because I know that doesn't really get addressed too much when it comes to weight loss or anything like that. So the prevalence of obesity was 19.3% and affected by about 14.4 million children and adolescents. Obesity prevalence was 13.4% among 2 to 5-year-olds, 20.3% among 6 to 11-year-olds, and 21.2% among 12 to 19-year-olds. So when it comes to childhood obesity, do the parents have, should the parents be held accountable? And how do we, what would be the solution to, kind of fixing this issue?
Oh man, we're gonna piss some people off, I think.
But
That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. I piss people off all the time.
It's about leading by example.
Yeah.
It really, the parent has the money. The parent buys the food in general, right?
Mhm.
That's what they do. But I think it actually, let's go on the other side of it, that the parent is not taught how to eat a healthy plate either. So they're teaching from what they know, and their disordered eating habits get passed on.
Yeah.
That's the sad truth. And also, what we feed our kids in school isn't ideal. Pizza is not a fucking vegetable, but that's what actually I think they've called pizza, because it has tomato sauce, fucking vegetable.
Which is basically just sugar and tomatoes.
I mean, that's fine.
Yeah.
Serve them pizza, but they're not going to eat the fucking broccoli on the side.
Right.
Let's be real. It really starts with our education system and the parents.
Yeah, absolutely. And somebody's accountability goes, everybody needs to be held accountable. So yes, parents need to be held accountable to that. Just because you as a parent inherited those bad behaviors, guess what? That's not an excuse. It stops with you. You have the power to stop that. And that's something I see with our new clients all the time, is like, I have all this disordered behavior from my mom, and who got it from her mom. I was put on a diet when I was 12 years old. Some people will tell me, which breaks my heart. But she's like, I don't want that for my kids. So I want to learn a healthier, better way to do this. And that's why I came to you. And that makes me so happy. And it warms my heart to hear that, as a parent myself, it's really hard to teach our kids good behaviors around food and exercise, while not making them feel bad about their body and their choices that they're making. So it's very hard. Parenting's not easy, but it's possible,
I think it comes down to being a lazy, okay, it's going to piss people off. Lazy parenting when it comes to food. It really does. We're not even preparing our own meals. Why are we going to prepare our kids' meals?
Yeah.
But it really comes down to, you need to fucking plan and prepare and teach your children the importance of having a colorful plate, how this food makes you feel, how that there's sometime foods and there's anytime foods. And, I get that we're all busy and shit, but we can't be going to the McDonald's drive-thru every fucking night, because we just don't want to make dinner. You can go to the local grocery store, get yourself a rotisserie chicken, some frozen vegetables, and a bag of rice. I mean, take that extra step. It really just, it comes down to us.
Yeah. And to add on to that, kids are very intuitive with their eating, and we lose that ability as we grow older, because it's forced on us to stop listening to our intuition and to our body. You look at a kid and they'll nibble, they'll graze, they'll hardly ever finish their plate. And that's another thing. The Clean Your Plate Club has been so harmful. Stop making your kids finish their plates. Stop making them, if they're not hungry, they're not going to eat. If they're hungry, they're going to eat, whether they've got pizza in front of them or fruits and vegetables. Okay. Yeah. So getting back to that intuition that our kids have, listen, our hunger cues. And I was watching my son eat pizza rolls this weekend with me. I made pizza rolls for us Saturday night, and I made us a plate of pizza
Tostinos.
Rolls. Of course.
Those are the best.
In the oven, not in the microwave, because they're in the microwave, they get soggy. And he ate 3 of them, and he ate them one at a time, bite by bite, very small. He didn't eat them one big bite of pizza roll at a time. He nibbled on them, and he ate 3 of them, and he was full. I'm like, that's all you want, bud? He's like, yeah, I'm good. He ate 3 pizza rolls, not the whole plate, Yeah. So he listened to his body and his hunger cues and what he wanted as a 12-year-old. And that's really, that's really
huge.
Powerful. Yeah.
Yeah. And also, we got to stop rewarding our kids with food.
Yes.
Oh, you did good. Let's go get a donut. Oh, you did. If you finish that plate, you can have dessert. No. Well, why are you doing that? They're taking that of food as like, okay, if I finish all this stuff myself, then I can get this highly palatable food, which you're not even hungry for. So there's that as well. And I'm guilty of it. I've done it before. When you know better, you do better though. So
Yeah, I'm guilty. When I first, when younger, before I became a coach and became educated on the matter, I definitely guilty of that,
yeah.
But like we were aware that we could change that ourselves. And
Yeah.
like the obesity issue, of course, obesity is a very complex issue. There's so many factors that go into it. It's a social, financial, mental health type thing. There's so many, you can't just pinpoint obesity on one thing, but definitely, the buck can stop, to so to say, with our parents and our parenting
Yeah.
to some extent.
Yeah, there's a lot of times where, friends will go out and they'll
Can you hear him, Beth?
No, you cut out.
We lost
Chris.
audio there real quick, Chris.
You guys
I'm almost
hear
on.
me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, sometimes that happens.
No worries.
Yeah. So, Betha, you were talking before about how when you go out with friends and you're, and when it comes to like going to bars or restaurants and they're drinking and stuff like that, they kind of like not pressure, but they're asking like, oh, why aren't you getting that cocktail or why aren't you getting like that beer or whatever. That's very similar in certain social circles when it comes to food as well. Like you could go out with like 4 friends to like a fucking, I don't even know, like an all you can eat buffet and stuff like that. And they're going to be asking you like, well, why are you having like 2 things on a plate? So what are your advices when it comes to like being in these situations in which like food is more of a want to certain friend circles over a need?
I think people want you to join in their debauchery shit. So we need to, it's all about, it's peer pressure. Like I think adult peer pressure is worse than kid peer pressure.
Yeah.
But I'm a 49-year-old woman. I can say no, thank you. So, no one's going to make me do anything. We have a choice.
Definitely have a choice. And if your friends, your family, like, and it's harder when it's family, but when it comes to alcohol and food and things like that, if your friends are pressuring you and they make you feel bad about those choices, that says more about that person than it does you. And if they are if you try setting your boundaries with them and they don't listen, they push back, you need to reevaluate that friendship. Like it's okay to cut friends out of your life. It's okay to cut people out of your life. If they're not going to listen to you, what you're saying, then they don't actually respect you as a person. If they don't respect your boundaries, flat out. You have to be prepared when you start a health and fitness journey. You have to be prepared to lose some people in your life, and that's okay. Those people aren't adding any value into your life anyway.
It's okay to say no.
My circle of friends is very small.
Yeah, mine's
days.
pretty fucking small too.
It's very good. It's very good quality circle of friends, though.
For sure.
Quality, not quantity.
Exactly. Okay. So, you guys talked about NEAT. So your non-exercise activity thermogenesis, correct? Did I get that right? Okay. So what are some ways to incorporate your NEAT into what is your methods of incorporating your NEAT with what a healthy lifestyle?
Yeah. Beth, can I jump on that one really quickly? Because I want to add something onto that with NEAT. We have this popular misconception about exercise and fat loss, that exercise is the way to lose fat, when actually exercise is one of the lowest ways that we burn calories throughout the day. So we have 4 main contributors to our overall caloric burn for the day. And this is what people don't understand, and we need them to realize. The biggest one, of course, is our metabolism. Our body's keeping us alive every day. It burns a tremendous amount of calories, way more than 1,200 calories for pretty much everybody, unless you're a toddler. So that's the biggest factor. The second factor is NEAT, that non-exercise activity thermogenesis. The third factor is the thermic effect of food. So the food that we eat, when our body digests it, it expends calories. And then all the way at the bottom of the totem pole, it's exercise, which is like 5 to 10% of our overall caloric burn. So NEAT then is the second biggest factor for how many calories we burn every day and for overall health. So Beth, do you have some good examples of how we can increase our NEAT?
Yeah. So stand more than sit. But so excuse me, take the stairs, park farther away from the store when you go grocery shopping. Don't like take the front row. parking spot. Like sweeping, mopping, gardening, fidgeting, just, be more mobile than, sitting.
Yeah. Yeah. And I just posted about this Saturday. I had a very high needs day on Saturday. So I typically average about 10 to 12,000 steps a day throughout the week. But on Saturday, I didn't check to see what my final tally was. But at like 7 p.m., it was at 22,000 steps.
Damn.
And that's because I got my exercise in that morning. I went on a run. I'm doing the Couch to 5K program. That was only 4,000 steps out of my day. So I had 18,000 steps from non-exercise activity. So now you guys maybe are understanding the importance of needs. And I didn't do anything extraordinary. I mowed the lawn. I raked the yard, housework, and that brought my activity levels skyrocketing. Just imagine if you do one thing every day, one household chore, doing the dishes more frequently, sweeping the floor, that stuff all adds up.
Absolutely.
All right. Let's get into a little bit more on the positive side of things. So what are some fun ways that people can, I don't want to say lose weight, but like, what are some fun ways that people can incorporate their NEAT? I guess would be a better question.
Ooh, one of my favorite ways is dancing when you're cooking food in the kitchen. Fun ways though. I mean, depending on how far away you live from the gym, I'm about to start doing this myself since it's the weather's finally turning. I'm going to start walking to the gym. The gym is less than a mile away from me. I should not be driving to the gym. The only reason I'm doing it is because I'm lazy. I'm going to call myself out on that one. So if I walk to the gym, that's going to be my warm up right there. So 2 birds with 1 stone. I'm warming up for the gym, for the workout I'm about to go through, and I'm getting in more steps. And I'm not driving. I'm not polluting the environment. I'm saving on gas. I'm saving wear and tear from stopping and going in my vehicle.
Yeah.
Not everybody lives right by the gym though. So that's a privilege of mine for sure. I don't know, some fun ways to incorporate some of that stuff. What's your favorite way of doing that, Beth?
I got a trampoline in the backyard. I play with my son on the trampoline. And that's really fun to me. I mean, I know not everyone has a trampoline, but a lot of parents do have trampolines that I know of.
Do you do like front flips and back flips and stuff like that?
No, but my son does.
That'd probably break my neck if I tried that.
Yeah, he literally, it gives me a heart attack watching him on that thing.
Okay. So both of you guys, and even including myself, have lost weight, and I guess there's different ways of losing weight. So I'll tell you like maybe just 3 ways how I lost weight.
Yep.
The first one when I was like obese, I was an obese kid. I joined football. I lost a lot of weight doing that. A lot of like pushing and straight training and running and all that other stuff. And that incorporates like a lot of, the straight training and calorie deficit and non-exercise activity thermogenesis.
Yep.
The second time I lost weight was just working at McDonald's. So basically just working and keeping myself busy and stuff like that. And then the third way I lost weight, which was more of a sustainable weight loss, is doing straight training 4 to 5 days a week, walking to the gym, like you just said, Matt, and just keeping myself busy doing stuff. So what are you guys both have weight loss stories. So any one of you guys can go first. Let's just talk about your story on that.
Yeah. I'll go ahead and jump on this one first. So I've lost, 50 plus pounds. I say 50 plus because at my lowest, it was more like 75 pounds. But for the last 5 years or so, I'll say set point, right? My new normal weight is about 200 pounds, 205 pounds or so. So with that in mind, at one point I was about 250 pounds. So, yeah. So 250 pounds at my heaviest. At my lowest, I got down to I almost broke the 160s when I was working with an online coach back in 2015. But that's when I was super shredded, lean, and like I hated my life because I was on this really restrictive diet, But it's been gradual over the course of the last 10 plus years. Really, what helped me keep the weight off was my daily walks. I do 2 walks every single day. I've been doing that since probably 2016 or so, which is really when my weight has been kind of stabilized since then. 2 10-minute walks every single day. For me, it's more like 2 20-minute walks every day, but I recommend 2 10-minute walks for everybody every day, as long as you have the ability to walk. So it's been a gradual thing. And that's what we talk about is, I don't care if you lose weight. If you don't keep it off, I'm sorry, but that was not, people tell me all the time, oh, I successfully lost 20 pounds 10 years ago, but now they're 30 pounds heavier. I'm like, I'm sorry, but that was not successful weight loss. Successful weight loss is key. So yeah, my little tangent there.
There you go. Yeah, same with Matt. I've lost about 50 pounds. I was close to 200. I'm like about 140 something now. And I've kept it off for, gosh, like 7 years now. So same thing, like keeping, nothing has really changed really, except I don't count calories now. I did specifically to lose weight, and I learned a lot. I learned a lot from that. That's why I don't need to count calories now, because I know what portions look like. I know to stop eating right before I become super full. That's one thing I never used to do before, is I would eat till I was like stuffed. And now when I get full, it's very uncomfortable for me. So I know my hunger and fullness cues, which I think a lot of people don't. And also when I was eating past the point of fullness, I was also drinking a lot. And like probably doing that because of stress and also being drunk. So not doing that anymore, but I've been strength training 4 days a week for, at least 5-6 years now, and at least getting 7,000 to 10,000 steps a day consistently. If I don't get that much, it's for reasons beyond my control usually.
Yeah, totally. So similar to what you said, Chris, with how you've done it. I incorporate strength training as well. I'm currently 3 or 4 days a week strength training. I do really, really heavy strength training, like powerlifting type stuff. So that keeps your activity levels high, building muscle mass, of course. It improves your metabolism, because it takes more energy to maintain muscle mass than it does fat. It's a small number, but every little bit helps. So.
I think what's important is like, don't like once.
Yes. I don't care. Like if you're not strength training,
your knee up. If you're doing 10,000
no.
steps a day and eating balanced meals, you should be okay, but keep the activity up.
Yep.
All right. Well, there's definitely fun ways of, working out and stuff like that. So one thing that I do, I don't really consider it part of my workout. I probably would consider it more as part of like my NEAT, would be to do like a fun run once a week. So if you're wondering about like how I can start, doing some fun running, there's a website called runningintheusa.com. You can find runs basically everywhere, up to 5Ks, 10Ks, half marathons, full marathons. They're a lot of fun. They're really fun to do in groups and stuff like that. So if you guys are wondering, just to incorporate maybe stuff more towards your NEAT, you could definitely go on runningintheusa.com. I'll put that on the description below. It's really fun.
Chris, on that note, dude, we got to get you in our running group with us that we started.
Yes.
Beth and I started a running. We're trying to get as many people as we can, and that we got like 20 people in it right now. And it's free to join, because it's cut bell, but anybody can start at any time.
Yeah.
We're just doing this as a way to help people for accountability and get them motivated. And running, I've always been very against running. Like, oh my God, I hated it when I was starting out. But I'm actually really enjoying it now that I'm more mature, I guess, in my journey and doing it for the right reasons rather than the wrong reasons. So I'm doing it because I enjoy it, like you said, and that's
Yeah. I always consider it part of like an extra activity to do, but usually like when it comes to like strength training, I consider that more of like just making sure I'm healthy and stuff like that. So you guys have the running group that you were talking about, as well as a Patreon. So talk about that. That sounds fun.
Yeah, appreciate it. So Beth and I, we have a podcast together called Cut the Crap with Beth and Matt. It's just like we've been talking about here, just straight to the point, in your face, not going to sugarcoat things for you. So we've been doing that for, since last year sometime. And we were getting people asking us all the time, like, how do we get started with strength training and where should we be starting with nutrition? So because we were getting that question so much, we started our Patreon for people to help support our content. And so we can, continue to help people and make content together. So our Patreon, we are firm believers that fitness should be for everybody. So we have 2 options for our Patreon, which is $5 a month and $10 a month. Depending on which option you choose, you get different access essentially. So $5 a month, we do workout plans that you'll get access to. We get new workout plans every month. There's a in the gym option and a option for at home. So no matter where you're working out, we've got you covered there. It's 3 days a week, kind of what we just talked about, building on the foundations, fundamental movements, pushing, pulling, walking, things like that. And then you also get monthly challenges that are lifestyle focused. So this month, for instance, Beth created a really cool mindset challenge for people where we're doing some gratitude journaling and self affirmations, as well as a physical aspect of it with building up a strong core. So she's doing like a plank progression with everybody. So that's the $5 a month option. And I'll let Beth talk about the other option we have.
And then we have a $10 a month option, which includes everything that Matt discussed, the workouts and the monthly challenges, and then also a membership to our Now We're Cooking recipe portal, which has over 100 low calorie, high protein recipes that are designed by a local chef here near me. And he's also certified in nutrition, and he has lost 300 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's insane.
That's a lot.
And we actually got a big deal on this Now We're Cooking because I use it for my clients as well. And I'm paying a big chunk of money to have them have access to it. So we got a deal. So anyone that's in the Patreon, just know that this is a score of a lifetime.
Yeah. And those foods too, like those aren't like, you think about low calorie, high protein foods, and they usually taste like crap using really weird ingredients. But like one of the newest ones that I want to make myself, it looks really good, is a focaccia dough pizza. Focaccia bread is amazing. If you've ever had it, it's just so good. And so made pizza out of that. So it's your everyday favorites that, our chef that we're partnered with, Chef Rich, has turned into a lower calorie, high protein. For 2 pieces of that pizza is like 350 calories and 32 grams of protein, which for pizza, that's unheard of.
Totally. And so the key, like I get a lot of people asking, so, well, you tell us that we can eat anything we want, fit it in. It's like, okay, yeah. But with the low calorie, high protein recipes, they're your typical very high calorie foods that are made lower in calories. So you can actually eat more of them, right? So rather than having like 1 slice of pizza at 350 calories, you can have 2. So it's really about fitting in foods that you love at the same time and not being easily overeating.
Nailed it.
That was great. Yeah. All right. So okay. So last thing before we wrap this up. So let's say you guys have a reality show, a reality weight loss show. It could literally be about anything. So let's talk about that, because I know we talked about that before. What are some ideas that you guys would have? Obviously, Cut the Crowd with Beth and Matt would probably be a good title for it. But like, what do you guys think about having your own reality show?
I mean, sign us up. We're ready to do it. Like we would love the opportunity. We've been able to help so many people with our TikTok platform and our Instagram platform, millions plus. Like if we had the ability to do that out on a wider scale and reach more people, that would be, for us, that would be so rewarding.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for coming. Do you guys have anything else you want to add?
Just, dude, Chris, appreciate the opportunity to come chat with you today. And
this is great.
It's been fun.
Thanks for having us. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for coming onto the podcast. We make episodes we do episode recaps of other reality shows. We help people, with fitness reality, talking about fitness and reality and stuff like that. And just having, fun with these shows. So if you guys have any questions for Beth and Matt, please leave a comment down below. And also, where can they find you on social media, guys?
Yeah. So I'm on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Matt Laar Fit. It's MattLaarFit.
I'm Beth Feraco Fitness on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook.